Welcome to the Perfectly Sane Show, episode 667. I am Chris, as always, joined by Tony.
I think we should add none of these candidate options to the ballot in November.
Oh my god, who wins at that point?
I mean, not Hillary, that's for sure.
Well, in Nevada, it did win.
Yeah, that's even Hillary doesn't win if you have none of the candidates work. So,
that's hysterical.
Sadly enough, I think Trump would win because then it would go to the electorate, and I think the Republicans will always mostly control more states. Because I think one state won whatever.
Earl is here, bringing us down about the Electoral College.
Yeah, the Electoral College brings everybody down. It's just so fun. I mean, it's a fun college. You can't even get drunk to it.
It's terrible.
I was going to say, did we skip 666 or did we just ignore that number and move?
No, we did it last week. We just didn't really do anything.
We didn't acknowledge it.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned it the week before. We should do something, and that was the first.
And then we
that was
667. I'm like, oh, I completely missed the number, and I don't think
I stayed away for a reason, man. I don't want to be fucking cursed.
And Jeff is here as well.
He's already fucking cursed, though.
What?
You're already fucking cursed.
I mean,
he doesn't need
it. It could be argued.
It's been a week, guys. I mean,
it's been a year. What happened? It's only February 9th, 10th.
Yeah.
8th. I mean, wow. I mean, I've added days to this year.
It's the 8th we're recording. This will go up on the 9th or 10th. People will be listening. Yes. So it's been a while. It's been a long 40 days. Between what we were talking about politically before the show started and video games, which we talk about a lot here. It's been a lot. The entire internet melted down. Starting Sunday? I think it was Sunday.
Last week, but yes, I think they really started to melt down over the weekend.
Yeah. So we already, I think we talked about this previously, that potentially Hi-Fi Rush and maybe Sea of Thieves would be coming to Nintendo and Sony platforms. Rumor leaked, I guess, over the weekend that Starfield might be hitting PlayStation. It's a little more eyebrow raising. And everyone lost their fucking minds on the internet. People like throwing their fucking Xboxes out, going out and buying PlayStations, just like absolute insanity going on with these influencers. And
the most insane thing is somebody actually traded in their games to GameStop. I mean, I'm desperate, but not that desperate to take their money.
Yeah, absolutely nutso. Like, I'm gonna get rid of everything. Fuck it, it's all over. Xbox is done. We don't know anything.
We don't know absolutely a single fact. I think the only thing that we know is that GameStop ran an ad where they called Game Pass Microsoft Game Pass. I think that was the only actual hard fact.
Yes, and I think Wario64 on Twitter he acknowledged, like, that is a term that EA has used in the past, like past, like, whether it's a typo or not, it's Microsoft Game Pass is a term that's been used. GameStop actually took that down, and I guess they reposted it as Xbox Game Pass. Who the fuck knows? We know that Phil Spencer's going to talk next week.
I was going to say, that's the actual fact. Well, we don't know if Phil's going to speak. We know that yes,
Microsoft is going to speak.
Yes. I was going to say, because it could have, I mean, who knows? I didn't even hear that craziness. It could just be shorthand, because it is kind of sometimes super annoying when it's like Xbox, PC, Ultimate Game Pass, as like, because you have to clarify both Xbox and PC. So like, if you say Microsoft, maybe it's shorthand for it being on both. But who knows? All you know is the world's on fire because
of rumors.
Yeah. Rumors that don't really do anything.
Like, okay, like where does
Is that
most
all the
fire?
rumors? Is that it? Like
So
that's
there's
Starfield might go on PlayStation Plus?
It depends on how far you want to carry it. Like,
Yeah.
are they getting rid of the Xbox brand? Like, does this mean that there will no longer be that Microsoft infrastructure on your Xbox, so that all those games you purchased on your
Yeah,
Xbox
okay.
now use like that is how far people have
Hold on.
taken it.
All right, hold on. 'Cause I don't. You know what? Be honest. I don't pay attention to any of this shit anymore. I don't give a fuck. But like what I saw out there is like, oh, Microsoft is going the way of Sega, and they're just gonna be a publisher and this and that. But it's like, is that literally just based off the fact that they
Yes.
maybe might put Starfield on PS5?
Absolutely.
Is that how we went from Starfield might be on PS5 to X?
Well,
out of the console business.
Well, I
'Cause
think it's a combination of stuff. Like before it was like Hi-Fi Rush, it was Sea of Thieves, then it's Starfield. I think somebody had mentioned like it might be Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, Gears of War is
None of
rumored
these-
to
none of these
possibly be showing up.
are true yet.
Exactly.
And also, they've put stuff on other platforms a bunch already. Like,
I think some of the alarm, and a lot of this, one, it's coming from influencers, which you shouldn't put a whole lot of stock in them, but people listen to them because they get exactly. But like people do listen, like they follow some of these people for news, and you have these people like going, "Oh no, it's all over!" Like they're releasing everything, all the floodgates are open, and they've just jumped from 0 to Sega, without any corroborating evidence. There is reason to think that if you were to release all your exclusives on neighboring platforms, this is the big thing I keep seeing on like forums and everything. What's the reason to own an Xbox if you can get it on the system that has Final Fantasy and God of War?
Yeah, you get PS5 and you can play everything. Yeah,
yeah.
I get that. If that is their plan, is to just go multi-platform for everything, then yeah, why would? But like,
well, I mean,
except for me, I like the Xbox.
I think they've already made the sales proposition is you get those games there on the Xbox first, and you get them free on Game Pass. And maybe if you own one of these other systems, you can play it, but you have to pay.
Well, I mean, again, this is a lot of different things. This is why there's a lot of different balls in the air because like right now it is like is that going to be something that can save in the future? Like yes, Starfield will be an 8-port, Hi-Fi Rush will be an 8-port, Sea of Thieves will be an 8-port. Is Indiana Jones going to be day and date? Is the next Bethesda game going to be day and date? That's I think what's causing confusion. But again, it's also like 3, 4, 5 years from now.
Right.
The other thing, the other room, and I think we talked about this last week, which I am more excited for if it comes to pass, is the concept or the notion that Microsoft wouldn't necessarily be a console maker in the sense of like we think of Nintendo and Sony and like they make a PlayStation, they make the Switch, they make the Wii or whatever, where like Microsoft license out like the Xbox brand or the infrastructure of making your own kind of Xbox compatible device where we could see like Apple making an Xbox device, we could see Google making an Xbox device, we can see Amazon making an Xbox device. Like maybe we get something like Stadia where it's like, oh, you hook this up to your TV and it just streams Game Pass games for you, and it's $100. That changes the calculus. That changes the dynamic. That changes what we think of hardware and software combination, and that's what I'm more curious about, rather than like, oh, this game's coming on this system and this game's coming on that system. Because just to Jeff's point, Minecraft multi-platform. They've made an arrangement with both Sony and Nintendo. Call of Duty's multi-platform for the next decade. Sony puts out MLB The Show, not by choice, on all major platforms. So it's not uncommon now. I think it's not as widespread as what people are, saying with Microsoft, but it doesn't mean they're going the way of Sega. And I think we had this conversation time and time again on this show where it felt like Microsoft was forcing themselves from the concept of traditional hardware with Game Pass over the last few years, where it's more like we don't care how you play these games, we want you to play these games from us.
Right. However you give us money, we are happy with.
Yeah, I just don't think there's enough there to like. I feel like people are jumping to
Oh,
conclusions.
Absolutely.
Like even
Eh.
this rumor about Microsoft licensing out Xbox so people can make their own Xboxes doesn't even really make sense. Like when you start thinking about why consoles exist, it's so you have a unified architecture that everyone is developing for. And once you start breaking that, you no longer have a console. Like then you have the same issues on Xbox that you have on PC, where every system is different.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
like it kind of just
Well,
breaks
again,
the
I
entire.
think I think the idea is kind of again something they kind of done with the Series X and S, where they are kind of like a half generation out of step, but you have to be able to run it on S by default, and then the X can have like a beefed up version. So like it's like yes, it is kind of like a PC, but it could be like a PC where it's like this is the bare minimum, and this is like the max. This is the range you have to support.
Yeah, I mean, and who knows? Like, we have no idea what any of that is at this point. If that's what it is, there's also a rumor that Microsoft is prepping a new system for 2026. It's a brand new kind of super box like the Series X, but also a step down box. But that would be a handheld, that like a Switch. Like there's crazy rumors all over the place. And we don't know anything because Microsoft is like, we hear your craziness right now. We're prepping a business update. We'll let you know next week. So
Everything
don't go
said,
throw your shit out.
everything said, I do hope that they are staying in the console business because I like their consoles. So
Yeah,
I mean,
and
we have been in a remarkably stable console market for a very long time too. Like it's been the big three for 20 odd years in a way that has never been before.
Mhm.
And maybe it's time for a change.
I do get people being worried, especially if they're listening to these crazy people that are going out and they're saying Xbox is dead, and they're acting like they have insider information, which they don't. But if you're listening to them and like, oh shit, like Xbox is dead, I just spent $500 on the Series X and I have 1,000 games from 15, 20 years of Xbox. That's a big investment to potentially lose if they were to go Sega, right? Like just up and we're done. But as
Well,
you guys said, that's not going to happen. It's not going to be overnight.
It's not, yeah.
you still have your Series X. You can still play those games. I get, you know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
that's the thing. That's the problem I had where people kind of abandoning ship. It's like this does not like these games still exist. This does not like the system doesn't self-destruct if the games get ported elsewhere. And it was, and this was again, it's been a week. This was not just this was Xbox related. This was the Grammys related with Taylor Swift and her. This is. I have never been more happy to not have my identity tied up into a brand because I feel like so many people reactions isn't based off oh Microsoft maybe going third party, these games maybe going to PlayStation. It's more about like we cannot brag anymore that our dick's bigger because we have Starfield exclusive and you have janky
Jesus Christ!
Spider-Man.
Like if you were going around, Grant, like my dick's bigger because we got Starfield. Like you are using the wrong ruler.
well, I just, yeah, people's
The PlayStation has sold 52 million units at minimum. Like I think that was the last report that Sony kind of gave out. Microsoft is half of that. So whether you have Starfield or Halo or Gears, like your dick's not bigger.
That's why I'm just happy my identity is not tied to any of these things.
Right.
That's why, like I said, I don't care. Like ultimately, whatever happens, as long as I can play video games. But my preference is that I have more places to play them. I don't.
Absolutely.
You know.
And on top of all of this, we talked. I think it was 2 weeks ago. It might have been last week. The Activision Bethesda and Xbox layoffs, 1,900 people between the two. This has caused the FTC to file a new request for injunction. They're still going after this merger.
And I mean, to be fair, I mean, I'm not, I'm not gonna hold it against. Yeah, I mean, I'm very curious to see this time if Microsoft is like we're going to start publishing. Like, how many people are gonna start being like, oh, maybe this isn't a great merger. Maybe Activision you're independent. I don't know how you merge a company.
Yeah, it's too late now. Like,
yeah, it's happened. but also, like, Activision was going to lay people off. Every single fucking company has been laying people off. Like, using that as well, Microsoft coming in and they're cutting these people. Activision was sure to be laying people off regardless. It sucks, but every fucking big company in tech has been laying off people.
And in fact, layoffs after a merger of this sort are super common because you end up with all of these duplicated positions.
Yeah.
Right. It's probably positions like PR where you don't need three PR teams.
Well, yes and no. I mean, part of it, again, mostly, I mean, like, the other thing that came out this week, because of California's WARN Act, is that we are in that Toys for Bob, which was, I think, the original developer, or one of the developers behind Skylanders and Crash 4, and I think the Crash Collection. They're going to be closed down, and I think, 89 people are using. I don't know the size of the company, but it sounds like the physical space is going to be closed down, and so that is, I mean, that's not a redundant. I mean, it might be a redundancy. Like, maybe Microsoft doesn't need 15 teams supporting Call of Duty.
Well, that's the other thing, right? Like, there's every chance that Activision was going to close Toys for Bob down anyway, and it's if you said 89 people, Earl,
something like that.
Yeah, that's 180 person studio, so they're cutting about half there. But it's entirely possible that they were going to be merged into one of the other Call of Duty studios anyway. Who knows? Because Activision just kept consolidating everything into Call of Duty. We have no idea how they were going to be handling that. Sucks, but yeah. So Microsoft Nightmare currently. We'll be
singing, guys. Singing.
We'll be able to talk about it next week though, because they will tell us what they're doing, I guess.
We hope.
Yeah. Honestly,
well, I mean, they said they're going to do it, so fingers crossed that they keep their word.
Yeah, it sounded like it might have been scheduled for later in the month, but
it sounded. I mean, the rumors all said it was supposed to come out in February, which, yeah, I feel like, and again, we could be wrong. I don't think it's something that they pivot on. I think it was just something that Phil wanted to get a hold on. Like, we're going to discuss this, so rumors don't run away from us.
That could very well be it. Yeah. So yeah, we don't. I mean, we don't know if Phil Spencer's going to be talking. We don't know if Sarah Bond's going to be talking. We don't know who's making, who's kind of hosting this business update. But that is coming.
I'm curious what format it takes. Because, I mean, how do you do something like that? Because the other thing I was like, why wouldn't this just end part of their developer direct? It seems like the kind of perfect thing to talk about in that. But yeah, next week's show will be interesting because, I mean, we're focused mostly on Microsoft this week, but the other side of the table is, all the rumors about Nintendo and the successors to the Switch being announced within the next few weeks.
That would be fun. It's about to get crazy out there, news-wise. Earl, you threw into our chat this morning a trailer for the Knuckles TV show.
Yes. And I will say, it looks pleasant. I mean, one, I'm a fan of the movies. I like the Sonic movies. Jeff, are you okay with that?
I mean, no, not to any of this. Like,
The first one was good. I did not see the second one yet, but
all
the
right, is
first one was
anyone
fun.
here gonna be watching Knuckles the cartoon?
Is
Well,
it a
so that
cartoon?
I've
Earl, are you
seen.
gonna be watching Knuckles the cartoon?
Yes.
Oh my god, you're lying.
No,
I
I
might
will.
watch it.
I will totally watch it. It looks interesting. It looks really good, actually. I was
I will
surprised
not
by
be watching it, Jeff. I will not watch it.
I was surprised by how many people they got from the movie to actually go along with this. It looks like it's movie quality CG. I mean, which also helps when most of the characters are live action. So they get, they have all the voices and stuff like that. And it's a really fun and something different. I assume it's gonna bridge the gap between 2 and 3. I think it's a mini season. I think it's 6 episodes or something like that. Yeah, I mean, it's enjoyable. It's fun. I don't know why I wouldn't watch it. I enjoy the movies.
I might give it a go. At least I'll give it one episode. At least.
But,
I'll get right around to that, Jeff. Right after I watch that other show you want me to watch.
Show for adults. Yeah. I make fun, but I did watch like half of the season of that like new He-Man that came out like a year or two ago. So
Which one?
Kevin Smith one.
Well, he has like another one that came out now, but like the first one.
Because there was like a He-Man show where like spoilers, like He-Man dies in like the first episode, and I think that was the one with is that Kevin Smith? And I know
There's
Mark.
Kevin Smith.
Yeah, and then there was another one which is like a kid friendly one called like Masters of the Universe. Or I might be reversing
I
the
didn't
two
know
of
that.
them. They were like both of this. They came out like weeks apart, both on Netflix. It's really.
I didn't know that. There's like another, like they're kind of continuing the Kevin Smith line now, but like
Revelations.
The one that I watched actually was kind of neat because Skeletor got the fucking sword in it. It was like, oh, like that was like the mid-season finale. It was like, oh shit, like he got the whatever the fuck. Skeletor got to say, I have the power.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I guess there's a part of me that's like 8 years old still too, but
I mean, there's no
I
shame.
don't have time to do this.
There's no shame in that. I will, if I have the chance, wake up Saturday, Sunday morning, get me a big bowl of cereal, put on a cartoon on the TV, and kick back and relax. There's nothing saying that you need to grow up in all aspects of your life. I work some 40 hours a week to be an adult. I pay rent. I pay bills. I want some me time. I was just, before this podcast started, I put on a 500-piece Zelda puzzle and an add-in on vinyl. That was my evening before I joined you gentlemen. I am an adult when I need to be, and when I don't need to be, I don't care.
Hey, you're free to do what you want. I'm just, with my free time, I'd rather watch not some like cartoon. Like, I don't know, just me personally.
Again, it's not a cartoon.
Knuckles is not a cartoon.
It's
No.
it's
like
live
the movie.
action like the movie.
CG
Oh
character.
my god, are you kidding me?
No, it's in the movie universe. Yeah, it's a little outlandish, but
And just as an aside, I've also watched Sonic Prime on Netflix, and I watched Sonic Boom. So
those
yes,
are cartoons.
Those
Yes.
are cartoons. I would definitely watch Sonic as well.
All right, well, Knuckles out there. Halo Season 2 launched. I have not gotten to watch that first episode yet, but people seem into it.
I did not know Porn Stash is Master Chief.
Pablo Schreiber, yeah.
Or you could say, can't remember his name in Den of Thieves, but I saw a poster basically with him without his helmet. I'm like, that's Master Chief, his fucking Porn Stash.
He doesn't have his helmet on a whole lot in the first season. Evidently, the first episode of Season 2, he keeps the helmet on the entire time. So, I guess they heard the complaints. I don't know.
You like it?
I thought it was entertaining enough. It is definitely not what you expect from Halo. I'll give it that.
How do you mean? Like,
It's doing some shit. It's hard to explain because it is completely bonkers in
Is it
how it is.
does it look cheap or does it look good?
At times it looks really good, and
Yeah.
at times it looks like absolute trash.
Okay.
Some of the fight sequences are decent, you know. And then there are times when everything doesn't meld very well together. Yeah, I'm gonna give season 2 a go. We'll see how that turns out. I know Earl hated the. Did you
I
finish
did not
it,
even
Earl?
finish it.
Yes,
No, I
he
did not
didn't
finish
finish.
it.
He did not like it at all. So I will come back next week and let you guys know how the first episode
So,
of
is it
season
wiki
2 is.
again?
It is weekly again.
Oh, I'm surprised. I figured they would have dumped it all just if nothing else because I think that first season lost a lot of momentum because it came out weekend. People were just like, I think the first episode was kind of okay, and the second and third I think were really slow because that was like when he went back to like the space station and a lot of walking around and talking.
Yep.
And then I think I pretty much dropped it after that.
Yeah, not what you want necessarily from Halo is a lot of walking and talking. But supposedly some very good action in this first episode of season 2. Is there any other news you guys caught this past week?
Madden's on Game Pass now.
What was
Special
that? Madden's on Game
console.
Pass.
Madden's on Game Pass.
Oh, that was Tony's game of the year, right?
Right, sure.
Tony did
What
not
a
even
game.
play Madden last year.
I did not even touch it. This is my one opportunity because I was not going to pay money.
You're gonna do it, yeah.
Well, I'll definitely play it for $0.
I downloaded it.
Okay, so this was news, and I'm still not really sure what it means or how to process it. Disney and Epic Games announced that Fortnite Connection universe. Like I think Disney's investing like 1.5 billion in Epic to create like some ongoing Disney experience in Fortnite.
I hate it.
Or something. I was not really sure what was going on.
I saw the hilarious quote from Iger about seeing people, seeing like people from Gen Z and younger people spend so much time playing games, and we need to get into this space.
He's like,
they haven't tried it like 3 or 4 times already and failed miserably every
he's
time.
just like,
go ahead, Joe.
He's like, this video game market could be something. It's like, bro, you fucking killed it. Didn't he kill?
Yeah, he did. They had the Disney, they had the Disney video game division, which was pretty big.
And good.
He killed it. They
made good games.
That was the team that released Split Second.
Yes.
Which is a great racing game.
And you killed it to finally save a buck. And now you're like, oh, there's a lot of money in this video game business. No fucking shit, bro.
They killed it twice, in fact, because they killed that, and then they bought Lucasfilm, which along with Lucasfilm came LucasArts, and killed that.
Yeah.
That was where we were supposed to get Star Wars 1313, and they moved it over to Disney. And we're like, nah, we're done. No more video games from us.
I forgot about Star Wars 1313.
Yeah.
LucasArts, great studio, very technically
Phenomenal.
talented,
Yes.
Yeah, and you pissed it away, and now you're like, hey, we gotta get in this video games, and then they're just gonna pour money into fucking Fortnite. I fucking hate it. Fuck you.
Well, I think it's into Epic, but I think they're creating some Disney Fortnite content as part of that.
Yeah. I don't want to play Fortnite. Fuck you and your fucking Fortnite.
Well, I don't think it's just gonna be Fortnite, Jeff.
I don't care. I'm not downloading Fortnite to play.
It's not Fortnite.
I don't think you will have to. Some of it you might, because it'll be interspersed, as Earl said. But I think there will be
garbage.
Epic will have Disney stuff outside of that.
Yeah, you release a standalone Disney game that has nothing to fucking do with Fortnite, I will play it. But I'm not fucking with Fortnite. I'm done with Fortnite. I'm not doing it anymore.
Fortnite dropping the Ninja Turtles content tomorrow.
Not that I ever. Fuck Fortnite.
What's crazy now is like Fortnite is not like what you would even imagine.
I just
Probably
don't care.
in your head.
I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing it. Just fuck you. I don't like it. I don't like what I've played of it. The people that I know that play it, I don't like them.
Wow,
That's it.
I'm right here.
Ouch.
Right
Ouch.
here.
We support Fortnite all the Jeff, there are other things in Fortnite now. Like there's a whole racing game. Like
But
just
why?
like
Why do I
outside
have
of
to? I don't have to give
there's
in.
Lego Minecraft.
Lego Fortnite, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's better.
There is like they have their whole rock band thing going on in there. It's like Fortnite is just it's a platform now. Like there's Fortnite the game, but there's also like you boot into Fortnite to play other games. It's weird. It's
That's
a very
horrible.
weird thing.
That's really fucking horrible. I'm very against it.
You're really horrible.
I mean, I am. I'm not gonna deny it, but I'm just. I can't stand by this shit.
I mean, we don't know what it's going to be yet, so I guess we'll see at some point. But 1.5 million, right, Earl?
Billion.
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 1.5
There you
billion.
go.
That's a big number.
Because we like these video games that I've just heard of and never done anything with ever before.
It's sometimes it's like it sounds like a big number, and then I'm also like these businesses is probably nothing to them. Like I don't know how much Epic is actually worth. Is Epic even I don't know.
I don't think Epic is publicly traded.
You know, just a pretzel at Disney World will cost you fucking $20 now. It'll be fine, but we'll figure it out. They got money.
It is also always fantastic. I know, like Disney gets exorbitantly expensive, but like yeah, it's like we have to pass the savings on to consumers by jacking up the prices.
You know what? Can I go on a little mini rant? You know, Disney World had a thing called Fast Pass or whatever, where you don't have to wait in line.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great, and like pretty much theme parks kind of adopted this all over. Then Disney, this is since the last time I went, so I don't know how it works now, but they decided that's not free anymore.
Yeah, they do Genie.
That is honestly, that's like kind of keeping me from wanting to go back there because I'm just like, oh, I'm just gonna get nickel dimed to death.
Yeah,
not that I wasn't already.
It was. I'm not even a huge Disney person, but I watched a fascinating documentary on it on YouTube, where like because like even Fast Pass was like an invention of like the mid 2000s. Because like you used to be able to kind of go and just go online, and then it got so popular. Like because a lot of theme parks do that now. They have
Oh yeah,
Lightning Pass on stuff like that, where it's like, oh, you know, like if you want. The problem is it's kind of like pre-check in the TSA. It's like, oh, this is awesome. Until everybody else starts doing it, then you just have a different line you're paying for that's still alive.
Yeah, it was always. Look, you know, I went probably on one of the final years before they got rid of it now or whatever, but like you'd wait like 10 minutes in Fast Pass line. Like it was never bad. Maybe a half hour on a brand new ride, right? Or whatever. But like
well
it works.
But they limited
you're making
it
the other
too.
line longer.
Like, you could only do I think like the last time I went Fast Pass was like you could use it 3 times a day. So you could like set yourself up for 3 different rides through Fast Pass per your ticket.
At a time. So here's the trick, Chris. This is what I used to do. I would schedule all my Fast Passes before like noon, right? And then you use your 3. You use your 3. Then after you use your 3, you could use one at a time after that throughout the day. So I would essentially get through the park and go on every ride without really waiting in an actual line.
Okay, so timeout. So this is something. I mean, but because I have a friend going to Disney in April, and the fact that planning a Disney trip is a job.
It's intensive. You have to like know the ins and outs. I enjoyed all that.
Ridiculous to me.
Well, that's the type of vacation it is, though. It's
like
not
a vacation.
I know, but it's about like doing things, and then if you want to like maximize doing things, you have to like kind of plan it out. And that's why I go on cruises now. Because
Jeff's like, I don't have to worry about shit.
You really don't. Like, Melissa keeps wanting me, like, oh, we should do this on this day. And I'm like, you know what, dude? You can wing it on a cruise, and you're going to have fun. It doesn't matter.
That is true. All right. I guess before we move on to what we've been playing, Tony, the Skull and Bones open beta evidently hit
Today. Yes, it's
There's
real.
a
It
thing
exists.
people are playing.
Yes.
Did you download it? Are you gonna give it a try?
I have not downloaded it yet. I'll probably give it a run through this weekend. But tonight I played more Palworld instead because Palworld is real.
That's
true.
true.
I feel like I still don't believe Skull and Bones is actually here.
Yeah, you
but
might hit go on it and it just like kills your Xbox. And
right.
jumps
That's
out
what I'm
window.
expecting. Like maybe I turn it on and then Microsoft decides to abandon the console market. Maybe that'll be the catalyst.
I'm gonna play Skull and Bones. No, you're not. We're out. And also, your Xbox is now smoking.
Yeah, I kind of feel like though this is one of those betas where, I don't know if I would buy the game or not without playing it first.
Mm-hmm.
It seems so odd. The development has been so weird. The game is so different from anything else that Ubisoft has made. Like it's almost a must-play beta if you were considering getting the game.
Or if you consider the game was real.
Right. And you have to verify that the game actually exists. So
Not just a collective fever dream.
yes.
One other piece of news that I remember from today, as well, was Subnautica 2 got themselves into a little bit of trouble. The devs.
Okay, so I was gonna say not them. Their publishers got them in trouble.
Yeah, the way they worded what the game was going to be. I guess they referred to it as a.
It's a cooperative games as service title.
Yes. People don't like live service games. They don't like things referred to that.
I was gonna say they like live service games. They don't like it being referred to that because you have to update a game, but you can't tell us you're going to update a game constantly. We need to be surprised. So it's one of those things where like the terminology has been rotten, but the concept is what people want.
Yes, and so it is not a live service game in the way that Suicide Squad, which just released, is a live service game. It is a live service game in the fact that they're going to continue to support it and give updates and add new content to it as it goes on. But you can play Subnautica 2 just like you played the other two Subnautica games. And yes, this is the third Subnautica game.
I love video game naming convention.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe we need to find a different term than live service. What have you guys been playing this week?
Palworld. More Palworld.
Yeah, more Palworld.
Nothing but Palworld.
Nothing but Palworld. Okay.
I'm trying to I'm getting to the point now where I can have you can build an assembly line of pals, where they keep going around back and forth doing something. In this case, building me more orbs to catch more pals.
Okay.
I don't know. As you go along, you unlock more technologies and have to build more stuff. And I have this initial base that I constructed where I tend to build the things that get me to the next. Like your base has levels based on the stuff that you've built there, but the level goes through all of your bases, which is kind of weird. So you build this. Okay, say your base is level 8, and you need to build a furnace to make it level 9. Well, you can build the furnace at any of your bases, and all your bases will be level 9. And the level determines how many pals you can have at that base. And then when you
have multiple bases, and then have multiple increases in the amount of pals you can have at each base.
Right. So I had one base. You get up to level 10, you can have one base. You hit level 11, you can have two bases. And the number of pals you can have is equal to the number of levels.
Mm-hmm.
So you go from having one base with 10. Well, now you can have two with 11 each.
So now you have 22 pals.
Now you have 22, and you keep going up. I'm really looking forward to unlocking the third base. I have the main base where I build stuff. The second base is just for material gathering, so it's like the poor pals that got sent to the mines, like built on like this ore. Ore is really hard to like mine on your own. It's super heavy. But you can build like devices that let pals collect certain things. Like there's a thing that lets pals do nothing but collect wood and nothing but stone. But ore has to come from these like giant rocks that spawn, and then you mine them down and they disappear, but then they respawn. So I built my second base on top of like a bunch of them. So there's like all these respawning ore, and I just send the poor pals there to the mines so they can mine their ore for me. I collect it, and it's just there's the whole like refining process. So I have a bunch of pals there who are there just to mine, and then there are other pals who just carry things, and they carry these things back to boxes. And then I pick the ore up from the box, and I stick it into the furnace, which happens to be sitting right next to the box, because if you carry too much, you can't move. And then I have another pal, which all it does is breathe fire to melt the ore down into ingots so I can build stuff. And I have an entire, like, my entire second base. This is all it's for. It's these poor pals. I feel bad about their working conditions, but it's a shame.
So I heard that there's like a sanity meter. Like, how do you manage that for your pals?
Well, you can feed them.
Okay.
If you feed them better food, like the basic food for pals is like wheat or berries. Like you can build little wheat or berry farms, or you can spend time like cooking that food up. There's like this like food kiosk thing that you put in your base, which is where the pals go to eat. And so you can go to like a cook fire and make better food, and then put that in the little food gathering place, and they'll come there and they'll eat it. Or you can actually be super nice if you notice one of your pals is in dire straits and really angry with you. And you can go up and feed it directly yourself, like from your hand.
Oh.
So
that makes them happy.
And that tends to make them happier than finding their own food. You can also build things like pal hot tubs. So each one of my bases has a little hot tub where they can go and relax. The base, you have to have a bed for each pal or they start losing sanity. And the base bed is just like this wooden platform with a little tiny bit of straw on it. It looks really sad. The next one up is like this giant cushion. The cushions that I find are hard to build. Like I don't really want to waste my time, and it doesn't seem to affect their sanity enough that they're valuable. So I kind of stopped building them. I went back to the pallet. Sorry, pals.
I mean, if they're just as happy with their pallet of straw as the nice,
right,
fluffy pillow.
But if their sanity drops too much, they will refuse to work. They'll do things like just stand there or like go to bed, like just go to sleep, and refuse to do anything. It's kind of funny to watch. But the one thing is like you can see their sanity is super low. But you end up having collected so many pals, by just moving through the game that you're like, oh, okay, and you just go to the pal box and replace them with the same one. Like, oh, my fiery pal, he's mad at me. Okay, I'll go to the box and find another one of the same exact pal and just stick him in instead.
Oh, okay. So it's very like the storage is very much like Pokemon, where it goes
it's
into
super.
Like a
you get a whole lot of them in your box, and there's two things to manage, right? There's the ones that are assigned to your base, and then there's the ones that you carry with you in your party, and then there's the rest of them, which all end up in this box waiting to be assigned to one of those two things.
Got it.
And the way XP works in the game, it gives you bonuses for collecting up to 10 of the same kind. And like the bonuses are huge. Like if you're looking to move up to the next level, the best way to do that is just go out and find pals that are the same as the ones you've already caught up to the 10th one.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll get huge XP just for catching them again. So you end up with loads of them. Like I'm sure I have 10 of the sheep ones and 10 of the little fiery fox ones. I don't know. You get there's just so many. There's so many to catch, but you end up catching so many of the same one. It's kind of weird. And they had a bug too, where I think if you caught 1,000 of them, the game would crash and you'd lose your save file forever.
Oh, that's not a good bug.
Well, welcome to early access. But I think they fixed that one. I have not really experienced that one. But now I'm trying to get to the point where I can get a third base. I had a ranch on my original base, which I had to remove because like there was so much stuff built on the base that the pals were having trouble like navigating.
Mm-hmm.
So they like I have a furnace on one side and the beds on the other, and my fire pal couldn't get around to the furnace anymore. So I like had to delete the ranch. So I need to like get a third base so I can get a new ranch. And then there's this why am I forgetting what it's called? There's this building you could build where you could assign 2 pals to it to breed them.
A fuck house.
Yes, it's the fuck house. Yes, in Palworld they call it the fuck house.
Fuck house.
Funny. The weird part about that, so you send 2 pals in to breed. You need a male one and a female one, and then you have to give them cake. If you don't give them cake, they won't make an egg. I don't understand what that is, but
You guys remember the breeding in Viva Pinata? They do like a little dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, I'm glad you are enjoying Palworld. Were you able to get the multiplayer to work? Are you able to play in Sean's?
I have not been able. I haven't tried in the past like week or so. So we tried to make it work and could not. I'm assuming if we were both on Xbox, it would work.
Right.
But like he's got a dedicated server, and I don't know that like I've seen the directions on how to get dedicated server to work, and they don't seem to be very user friendly. So I think they're still working that out.
They're supposed to be bringing dedicated servers to Xbox as well. So, although you're now playing on Steam, right? Or on
yeah.
Yes, I don't know if those will transfer over. So. Earl, you play anything this week?
I played video games. Well, I started talking about one last week, and I played more of that. I think Jeff played. I think you played this as well. Kirby and the Forgotten Lands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I threw the first 2 worlds. I was just going through the game, and then I realized like there were hidden levels you can find on the map. So I went back to like world 1 and just throw that out. And yeah, I'm really having a blast with that game.
Great graphics.
Some of it. It's so. Oh, I was gonna say Kirby looks great. Sometimes he looks too good for the world he's in.
Sorry, Jeff.
Hey, some of like the grass textures and stuff, and like that's always like Nintendo always has like that flat grass that always looks weird. But the actual game, a ton of fun. Like I said, once I got over the initial like, oh, this isn't actually like a full 3D game. This is more like a not 2.5D. Like you have 3D exploration. It's closer to 3D world than it is like an Odyssey or a Mario 64.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, but like that, and like finding all the knickknacks and finding all the like little hidden quests in the level. I like that they don't hide it from you. It's not like, oh man, you have to find. It's like, okay, you beat the level. Here's what you need to go back and do if you didn't do it. The music's great. Again, like I think some of the powers really translates well. Big mouth mode, some of it works, some of it I still don't get. Like I did the what was it? Like the level where you do like the fan and you got to do the boat. I'm like, oh, I get how it controls, but like I felt like aiming with the boat was a pain in the ass. A lot of the time trying to turn it. But I did like that. I again finding the secrets, knocking out the giant gators and stuff like that. It is sometimes weird how Kirby's upper limit is the upper limit of how far you could jump at the moment. Like there's one where you can you can do stairs and like you move the stairs. Like if you don't move the stairs in the right position, he tops out the screen. But if you do move the stairs, since he can jump up the stairs, he can hover over it. which again, I kind of get the logic. It's just really weird and odd design choice. But no, it's a really fun game. I'm happy I finally got a chance. I wanted to play it when I came out, but waiting for sales. So yeah, Kirby, good game. The other one I played, and I think I talked about this when it was in early access or game preview or whatever it was called at the time. RoboQuest, which is on Game Pass on Xbox. It's a
I
co-op.
believe you did. Yes, I believe you
Yeah,
did talk about this.
yeah. So now it's an actual game, which isn't that different from the game I played back in like 2 years ago or something like that. But like, it's a really fun kind of. I don't want to say roguelike, but I mean, I guess it is. I mean, it's kind of level based. Like you kind of know the structures and you can do stuff to unlock different parts of the run. But it's like one of those things where when you die, you lose everything. You can, take resources and upgrade your character. You go back in, you start at the same point. You get the same, like you have your level one and stuff like that. But it's just a really fun kind of old school twitchy shooter. It's kind of like Borderlands if Borderlands was faster. Where you get a bunch like yesterday. Again, you get different loadouts. Like yesterday, one of my runs, I had like a shuriken and I had like an ice rifle. So like the shurikens, I would just toss in and they would just kind of auto aim. If they miss an enemy, they can also ricochet off the wall. So they were really good for getting people like down beneath. And then the freeze gun, not as much range, but like up close, freeze people can hit them, knock them out. That would also give me additional health and XP and stuff like that. So again, I like the weird, colorful combinations with the weapons, the different classes which you unlock. Right now, I have like the Ranger, which is the default class, and I think the Javelin, which surprisingly enough has a Javelin as a melee weapon that you can toss, and it's almost like an insta kill. And yeah, like I said, you go through the game. You complete runs, you level up, you go to rooms, you use whatever you had to unlock new weapons, upgrade your character, upgrade your abilities. But you can also, like, as you go through, you go unlock keys and doors that give you shortcuts that you can bypass, like the first 5 rooms of an area or something like that. But it's still early on where I kind of want to do that because you want to level up, and in order to level up, you want to go through all these rooms and feed all these. Probably get better guns, maybe find cells, maybe find something hidden. But yeah, it's a really fun game. Like I said, it's on Game Pass. Super co-op. I was playing with my friend. So if you want to check it out.
All right. That it?
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. Maybe.
I played I have not finished it yet, but I played a bit of the Final Fantasy Rebirth demo that released yesterday. No, yesterday or Tuesday. It's more Final Fantasy 7 remake, rebirth, whatever this is. I don't know. The demo area is clearly it takes place after a remake, but the demo area is like recapping something that happened in the past, in Cloud and Tifa's past. If you played the original Final Fantasy VII, it is the part where Cloud and Sephiroth show up to Nibelheim, which is Cloud and Tifa's hometown. And it's kind of like that. It's that flashback piece from the original game. It looks phenomenal. I don't think anybody was expecting anything different, though. Like that's if Square does anything well, they do. Their visuals for Final Fantasy are almost always outstanding. Music's great. Gameplay is fine. The areas that you are in are much more open this time around than at least the area they've given you in this demo is much more open than what was in remake. I don't think it's going to be very long. I put about 40 minutes into it. I can't imagine that they're going to give you that much more in the demo to play, but yeah, it seems like if you liked Final Fantasy VII Remake, this is it's a good continuation of that, and that's really it for me. Jeff, what have you been playing?
Nothing really. Just I've been playing Dragon Age Inquisition.
There we go. That's what I wanted to talk about.
Old game. So I don't know that I have a ton to say about it, but
How much have you played of it?
a decent amount now, probably more than I did back in the day.
And it's still holding your
Not
attention?
entirely. No, not entirely. It feels like a game of just filler quests. Like that's the whole game.
Yes.
It's just like filler.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm not crazy.
No.
Because like it's starting to wear thin.
I love these games. Like I love games like that, and I got so bored of Inquisition. I did not come close to finishing it. I don't understand why people did.
They try to tack all these things on. Like there's like a war table you have to go to, and like you could send people out to do shit, and then like at that war table you could unlock new areas that you go to, right? But at some point it just becomes like, all right, you go to this new area or whatever, and close all these rifts, do this, do that, like a bunch of busy work, right? And like the combat is like kind of fun. Like I think it's neat. Like it has like the things you want out of this game, like in a way, like you got the party, you got a warrior, you got a rogue, you got this and that. You get to like work on those characters and like again, the combat is like generally kind of fun, but it's just like I don't know, nothing's sticking.
It's fun in the sense of like a bad action movie is fun because there's like you're like I'm looking at this stuff happening and it's cool. There's no depth and it's just like not interesting. Like it's like fun to watch. I think the other thing about it is like you're kind of just watching it happen, like as opposed to like trying to figure out a puzzle, which is what most of these games tend to be about.
Yeah,
like, figuring out the combat. It's just like watching stuff happen.
See, I have no problem with it being like kind of straight action combat, and you can adjust the difficulty how you want, whatever. But like, it's just that as time goes on in it, I'm running out of things to do that I find interesting, and like it's just very repetitive in like its missions and whatnot. And again, I have no idea how far I really am in it, because there's like this big mission I have to go do that feels like an end game mission, but I'm like, maybe it's not. I've been holding it off and like unlocking other things and doing this and that. But I'll just say this: like the initial the first 10 hours of this game, I'm like always like, oh yeah, this is great. Like I'm having fun. This is really great. And it's just like now that I'm like probably 30 hours and I'm like, what am I doing now in this? Like
I'm doing the same stuff I was doing.
I'm like just like looking for something to do that might be slightly interesting, which is disappointing because like the game is like probably like 70 to 80% there to being something pretty phenomenal. And you know what like it's funny is because like this game was the game of the year of that year. Like I think we gave it game of the year, and we weren't out alone.
We didn't.
We were very close to giving it game of the year. This is the argument that I made, was that all of you guys were in the first act.
Yeah.
And which is the strongest part of the game. I was like, I don't know if it's going to hold up, because I was still in the first act too, very early in the first act. I think I talked it down to a different game.
Yeah, I think that was Fozzie was way in favor of it, and that was the whole discussion was, but we haven't played enough of it to like know if it's actually
that was a problem
because it had come out right before our game of the year discussion.
I had played enough that I was like, no, this is my game of the year, and like honestly, 10 hours into this game, I was like, yeah, I can see why I would say that. But as it goes on, it's just like, oh, there's not a lot beyond that. You know what I mean? Maybe there's like so much I haven't seen yet that like it gets so cool and amazing and whatever. But like as it is right now, I just feel like I'm running out of things to do that like are fun. and I'm just like going to the areas I have unlocked to try to find stuff to do to level up. So I could go do this one thing, and I'm like, I don't even know if that's the end of the game or what. I have no idea. And I just, like, the initial fun of it kind of wears off. Just my opinion. I don't know. I don't think it's a bad game by any means. And it did win Game of the Year that year.
It did, yes.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's an old game. It's you know what? Like, it's kind of sad for me. Is like looking at what's coming out. There's like nothing I'm looking forward to. Absolutely fucking nothing. Like Avowed, which is what maybe the end of the year, and then I'm hoping that there's a Switch too. But like, just looking at what's out, like or like what's scheduled to come out and has dates, I'm like, I can't name you a game that I'm like that I want to play, and I don't know if you guys could because I cannot.
Oh, I have like 4 in the next 2
I have
months.
a couple. Yeah.
Okay, tell me because maybe I'm missing something.
Well, the Tomb Raider trilogy comes out next week.
Okay, if that was an actual remake.
Yeah, it's a remaster. It'll look a little better, but it should play better than the originals too. I'm getting Banisher's Ghost of New Eden next week. That's the new Don't Nod game. And you probably know them as the
yes.
Huh?
I know them.
Yeah, but this is an action role playing game instead of one of their adventure games. And I've liked all of their stuff, so I'm looking forward to that. What's that? When's that Stellar Blade come out? That one looks fun.
Girl with the ass.
Yes, the girl with the ass.
That is exactly it. That is what it is.
I guess that's end of April. Rise of Ronin is early March.
March 22nd.
Okay, so late March. That one looks fun.
Yep.
There's something else that day too. I think.
Yep.
Is that Dragon's Dogma?
Dragon's Dogma is the same day.
That one's not on my list, but
nothing popping out to me, man.
Mario versus Donkey Kong.
I think I'm going to get that just because, like, I'm desperate.
Princess Peach.
Princess Peach is also March.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about that game, but I feel pretty confident about Mario versus Donkey Kong. I think I'm going to get that. I think that's pretty soon, right? So
that's next week.
Yeah.
So you're good. You'll have something to play.
Something I know, but it's a little slim pickings.
March 22nd is loaded.
Here's also a secret: old games still exist.
Yep, that's true. You playing old games
You
isn't
don't
bad.
tell me the secret. I'm playing one.
He's like, I'm stuck with these old games. Oh, I know.
Hey, Jeff, if you want to get back into playing more CRPGs now that you've played an action game again, you can play the original Dragons or Dragon Age because that's a very good game.
I downloaded one of the Wasteland games on Game Pass. And I started to play it, and I was like, I understand this genre more now, but there's still like a learning curve
for all of them.
Yeah, like so. Like if you're playing Larian. It's like there was still a learning curve with Divinity, but like I felt so comfortable with their style that I was like, I got it. And I started playing Wasteland. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
if you're gonna play
do I really want to learn this? Not really.
I would recommend Wasteland 3. I think
it was.
Yeah, that's the one I would recommend.
It was
fun. There's a curve to it.
Yeah, I'm just like I don't know what I'm doing yet, and I'm like I don't. It's not just like not in the mood. Like, fuck you. Give me something I can pick up and play.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to move away from like thinking about shit and just hack and slash your way through stuff.
Here's why I'm playing this lesser BioWare
game. Pillars of Eternity is still out there also.
And I do own the first one. I think the second one's probably on Game Pass.
There's 2 of them, right?
Yep.
And that's the ones that
that's Avowed. Avowed is the same universe.
I might give that a shot again at some point, but
I mean, story wise, like you'll probably enjoy that because Obsidian always does good story stuff.
Yeah. I will say this: like in Inquisition, I'm not really. I'm like kind of. I get it. Yeah, there's like a rift. I got a mark on my hand. I don't know. Bad things side with this side or another. I don't know. It's not like where it's strange because in Baldur's Gate 3, I really was kind of like into some of the storylines in that, and nothing has been able to replicate. Even Divinity, I was just like, yeah, I get what you're doing here, but whatever. I just like in Divinity, I just chose a side and stuck with it. You know what I mean? And just so every time I had to make a decision, it was like, well, I'm with the fucking mages or whatever, But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, I guess I got the Mario vs. Donkey Kong game to look forward to. I guess that'll be fun.
Sure.
Go ahead, Earl.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, I'm sure there's always indie games that I always feel like we forget
A
or
lot come out of nowhere.
yeah, because I mean, not that they come out of nowhere, because a lot of them have marketing. It's just like marketing that you don't see if you don't.
Yeah, that's true.
And then like everybody just starts talking about it, and it's like, oh, like I think Chris played one near the end of the year. I forgot the name of it. That was, I feel like it just kind of came up, and everybody started talking about it. What was the name of that game? But like stuff like Pizza Tower, I hear about, and that is really interesting. But yeah, there's always like those weird. I will also say, and this is, I guess, a curse of a long as the generation goes on. And I feel like all three of the major platform holders get really bad at actually marketing their independent games when they come out. Like they're good at announcing, like, oh, we're gonna have this day and date, or this is the console exclusive first, or whatever. But I couldn't tell you what's come out like PlayStation, the PSN, or Xbox Live, or Nintendo Switch in the past like 2 months. And I'm sure there's a ton of interesting games. It's just like it's hard to pay attention to all of it. I know Nintendo sends out a press release every week, but I don't read that.
It's true. They don't do a great job of kind of, hey, these games are out.
I haven't recalled a year in many years where there's like nothing I'm looking forward to, or I'm just like, I look at the landscape, I'm like, none of this sounds good. Like I literally looked through a Wikipedia of here's the games for 2024, and again, obviously, not a lot of things are now like some things are not announced, and there'll be indie things that pop up and shine through, right? But just like scrolling through it, I'm just like, man, not looking forward to any of this. Like, don't care. And again, there's some truth that every year, I guess, but like I've never had a year like this where there was just like nothing. I'm just absolutely nothing looking forward to.
I would say it's. I mean, three things. First, like you said, there's not a ton of like this stuff. There might be stuff but like what realistically could still be announced for like this year, because like we tend to have decent lead times with a lot of companies. Sony's had an event this year already. Microsoft's had an event this year already. EA.
Saying that like nothing's going to be announced that I can look for.
Go back to like the Game Awards, where the two biggest games that they announced were Monster Hunter Wilds and GTA, if you could kind of fold that in, and both of those are next year. Like there was no game announced at the Game Awards where like this is coming next fall and you haven't heard of it before.
There's not a single game this year that I'm hyped for. Avowed, I want to play, but I'm not hyped for it. It's weird.
You just need this year's Baldur's Gate 3. You'll find a new game.
Nothing will come. Yeah. There will be games that I love.
No doubt. Yeah,
Europa Universalis 5. Book it. Coming this year.
But Baldur's Gate is an interesting case because like that was in like early access like 2 years. Like it's not necessarily a game, but it's a game that kind of we knew existed. And but it's like there are not. And again, I'm not saying that there wouldn't. I'm sure there's gonna be games that get announced and stuff like that. But like realistically, I'm not expecting like, oh, here's like 15 AAA titles you hadn't heard about coming this fall.
Really, I'm kind of hoping that like Nintendo saves the year with a new system and a game or two for it that I want to play. But like other than that, like I gotta tell you guys, like I'm hoping shit pops out, like indie games, whatever. That like, oh, I'm surprised by it, but like, just looking at it, I'm like, I don't care about this. I don't care about that. I don't care fuck about
Yeah.
any of this shit.
I was gonna say the other thing, and I think like last year was just explosive, and I really think like when you have lead times that are 3, 4, 5 years, last year was just a culmination of like a lot of pandemic era games that got pushed back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, last year was firing for almost everybody, and now it's like, yeah, now we're kind of in the next part of that cycle where it's like, oh, we got to twiddle our thumbs until, like Tony said, like next year already seems more interesting on paper. Stuff like
Yeah.
Monster Hunter, I think Wolverine's next year. Um, yeah,
Again, I do fully believe there will be like really great games this year. I just ain't seeing them yet. So
Star Wars Outlaws. Wait
yeah,
for
okay.
it.
Excited for that one. I'm excited for a bunch of games. So
Ultimate General American Revolution. Jeff
Great. I'm
signed up for that one.
Fuck
You're
yeah,
in.
dude.
not sure I'm in with it, on that one. All right. Well, as kind of mentioned, Tomb Raider comes out next week. I don't know if I'll get to play any of it before we talk, but I will play some Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden before we record next week. And we will definitely be talking about whatever Microsoft tells us is going to be their future of the Xbox. So
Tenchi and Nintendo Direct.
And potentially a Nintendo Direct. That would be great if, as those rumors about the Switch 2 maybe being announced this month. That would be cool.
I think they said March. Everybody's kind of aiming towards March, which some people, I could see it being around like because the Switch is going to be 8 this March. I mean, it's gonna
Okay.
be 7, but it's gonna be entering its 8th year. I think that's how it works.
Ancient technology.
I mean, it is, but it was
it
also
is.
ancient technology in 2017. So
I think that they've had this predecessor ready to go for probably a year or two.
The
So
developers'
I guess
manuals
some
are
of
in
this
cuneiform. That's how old the Switch is.
So if they announce it in March, what do you think we're looking at? An October, November release window?
oh, that's what I'm intrigued by because
first week in November.
So the one thing they did announce was that when the Switch 2 comes out, they would have 10 million of them by May 2025.
Okay.
So
It's happening.
Yeah, that sounds like a holiday. So yeah, because the release window from when the Switch announced to its release, in theory, was I think what 6 months, 5 months. It was announced in like October of 2016, came out in March 2017. So like that would give us, I guess that would give us early like September, October. So I could see them announcing it, and I wonder if they would announce it like they did with the Switch, where it was just like here's like a 3-minute trailer, and then they did the big reveal in like January. It's like having something around like E3 where it's like here's the actual blowout, like what the system is, when it's coming
Yeah,
out.
I can see that.
But I'm also very curious to see what the Switch 2 is, or isn't in some cases.
Stick to the blueprint. I really think if you're Nintendo, you stick pretty close to what this is, just better. Like,
What do you call it?
I call it Switch 2.
Okay.
I would not. I would dean off the Switch branding, which is ridiculous to say. But like, just because when they transition from the Wii to Wii U, it's like I feel like they need something that's just like really like custom. This is something different.
No! Don't do anything. Don't do anything.
Well, is that
Better
Jeff, is that why
hardware.
you're saying 2, right? Because you're distinguishing it that it is the next one.
It's better hardware. It's the same thing. It's Switch 2. The Switch is huge, man. Like, I look at like my wife, who like she's not a big gamer. Like she plays like some more like she'll like play Diablo and stuff. Like she's like super into like RPGs and stuff. But like she plays like 1 or 2 games a year. you come out with Switch 2 and it's the same thing but just better, she's gonna buy that shit fucking immediately, dude. And like, I think that like there's a wide mainstream support for what the Switch is, and you do a Switch 2. I think if they veer anywhere off the course, they're fucking stupid.
We'll see how that plays out, I guess.
It'll be a Bongo based fucking system with a fucking life monitor or some shit.
You need to, it like takes your pulse as you're playing it.
Mm-hmm. Don't fuck
I don't
around anymore. I think they came up with a really neat idea, and let's just stick with it.
And it seems to be what everybody else is kind
People
of
love
moving
it.
towards.
Yeah.
You know, because the Steam Deck and all those Windows kind of handheld units are pretty big, pretty popular. So, and if the rumors of the Microsoft thing, like they're thinking about making some sort of handheld thing, so it could be cool. I'd be fine with it if it was just called Switch 2.
Do it. Please do it. Please don't fucking do something stupid.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week with more game news, more games, and more nonsense. Jeff, say goodnight.
Good night.